Welcome. We're on to sealed number 9 for Dominaria United. We're back on best of 1. So I'm alternating between best of 3 and best of 1. So the one I've just done, I got 1 win and 2 losses. So this is an interesting pack. I've been very lucky, I'll have to say, with Defilers of Vigor. This is actually my 4th copy now. So I've played it several times now in sealed. So that's quite handy. It saved me a few wild cards. I think I've only got the trigger about once. The tricky thing is, it's because it's sealed, it's quite random, and you don't necessarily get very many green permanents. You might be playing only 4 or 5, maybe 6 in the deck. And of course it's got a big target painted on it. People tend to blow this up before you get a chance to play your next green permanent. But I did manage to do it in the last sealed. I think I Bog Badger. That helped me win. Also, talking of 4th copies of things, this is my 4th Valiant Veteran. So my Soldiers tribal deck is looking pretty good. So with these kinds of cards, you just you have to do a search for Soldiers and just see if it's going to be relevant. Otherwise, it's basically going to be a Grizzly Bear. We have a Goblin King as well. He's actually only a 1/1 compared to the Veteran for the same mana. But it has a kind of card advantage mechanic going on when a Goblin dies, which is quite interesting. But I don't think there are very many Goblins in this set. That's very unlikely to be usable. And funnily enough, here's the Merfolk version. There's very few Merfolk as well, so we probably will end up ignoring all 3 of these. I think there's probably a few Soldiers though. This is probably a bit more playable. The red one here, this is the Defiler of Instinct. This is I think I've had 4 Defilers of Vigor, and this is my first other Defiler of any kind. So 4/4 first strike, that's pretty good first of all. And yes, makes your red permanents cheaper. Whenever you cast a red permanent spell, Defiler of Instinct deals 1 damage to any target. It's slightly underwhelming compared to Defiler of Vigor, you've got to say. Still, that could be quite handy. Definitely a good card. And last but not least, we have Liliana of the Veil. So this is my first copy of this card. I've never tried using it before. So you've got the uptick where both players discard. You've got the -2 where someone sacrifices a creature. So yeah, it's good. It's reusable removal. And if you ultimate it, yeah, you can force your opponent to lose half their permanents, which is pretty brutal. And it's only it's a 3-cost Planeswalker, but it is 2 black and 1, so it's quite hard to cast on curve, especially in sealed. You're not going to have that many black cards. You're going to have to pair up. You're probably going to be playing at least a 2-color deck, if not 3 colors. So just because we've got Liliana doesn't mean we're going to play it, basically. So we will continue there. Have a little look at what we've got. So I'm going to look at artifacts, or colorless cards first. what we're looking for overall are mana fixing cards, evasion creatures, removal spells, and card advantage. So there's quite a bit of fixing here. We've got the Crystal Grotto. I always play these. I think this is a good card. Inscribed Tablet is mana fixing. I think this one's. I don't like this so much. I think this is a bit dubious. I don't want to play this unless I have to. It doesn't. The problem I have with this, it doesn't guarantee you a land, but if it whiffs, it gets you draw a card, which is all right. What it can do though, maybe you get one land off the top and 4 decent cards, and it puts those 4 good cards on the bottom of your library. You won't see them for ages. So there's that potential for, unless you've got something else to shuffle your deck, potentially it's messing you up a bit. Vanquisher's Axe. So it's a bit of equipment. Kind of, if you've got some small creatures, it can kind of gives them trade up potential, and it's reusable. But I don't usually consider these. That's Meteorite, so this is expensive. It's 5 mana. Does mana fix? It's kind of emergency mana fixing. Also, it does 2 damage. And I do tend to play these. I suspect they're not all that popular, but I have been playing trying to play quite a few different colours and splash a few colours. So there's a high likelihood I'll end up playing this. Right, so onto the white cards here. So I've come around to Artillery Blast. This is a good removal spell. Most creatures tap to attack, so yeah, this is decent. Here's the one of the main vigilance creatures, or at least one of the cheap ones. Quite impressive. I've got 3 of these. They're pretty healthy. They've got 3 toughness. Got vigilance, they've got enlist, but I don't really consider these a kind of. There's something we might slot in later on. Yeah, definitely might come back to these. Banalish Sleeper, however, that's got removal potential, so I think we want to look at that. Skip this one. Skip this one. This is just a combat tricks. I tend to skip. So, right, Valiant Veteran gives you a bit of value. We'll do a little search for soldiers. Okay, so this is quite interesting, really. So Queen Alanal down here makes soldier tokens. That's why that has turned up. Got 2 Cavaliers that make soldiers. We've got a Captain's Call, which is fantastic. That's 3 soldiers. 1 Warhorse. And Tura, who also makes soldiers. If you cast instants and sorceries. So it looks like our Valiant Veteran has got some potential. So I think I will include that. And the 2 Cavaliers, or anything that makes 2 creatures, is definitely good value. This is removal. This makes 3 creatures. Okay, Wingmantle Chaplain. This is a defender. Okay, so we've only got 3 defenders in total. And this destroys defenders, right? So it's probably not enough defenders to make this card useful. It does make, I guess, the argument is it makes 2 creatures, but maybe 4 mana for a 0/3 and a 1/1 flyer is a little bit steep. It does, I guess, well, it makes an evasion creature, so that's something as well. Maybe we include it. And then we've got a big flyer here, which is definitely very interesting. Right, on to blue. Yeah, I tend to skip Shore Up. It can be very good, though. Okay, this is evasion. That's an unblockable creature. This is removal. That's good card selection. Oh yes, the Merfolk. So, I mean, this is the most Merfolk I've ever seen. There's actually 3 other Merfolk, so potentially this could be useful. We're adding the Merfolk. Voda Sea Scavenger is the best one, though. This has got a powerful sort of scry kind of effect, based on domain. Okay, I like the wall, the Academy wall. Gives you card selection, draw and discard, so that's good. I think this is a good counter spell. I realised it's you can counter the second spell they cast for 1 blue and 1. You don't have to wait for them to cast 2 spells. It's you don't have to wait for the spell to resolve for it to count as them casting a spell. That was one thing I was confused about, so I didn't think this was a very good spell for a while, but it is actually really good. Phyrexian Espionage is card advantage. That's good. That's an evasion creature. Okay, so on to black. So you got this flyer with Death Touch. I think that's really good. It's basically a removal spell. Bone Splinters is pretty good. I've got quite a few ways to make tokens, so yeah, that's definitely good. And also the Cult Conscript comes back from the graveyard, so we've got sort of fodder to sacrifice. Pretty good. This guy's got evasion. It's a good pump knight. That's Scries. That is also good. Abomination I'm not too excited by. Discard I'm not excited by. The Soultender's good, so that's a bit of late game card advantage. It's expensive, the ability, but yeah, it gives you an extra card and basically an extra raise dead late game. That's fine. Liliana's pretty good. We have 2 Extinguish the Light. That's very cool. So that's an instant, destroys any creature or planeswalker. Terrific, basically. Warhorse is good. Writhing Necromass. Now, I wasn't too bothered about this before, but we actually have some self-mill. We've got the Eerie Soultender. Maybe there is an argument for the Writhing Necromass here. There's a kind of an undercosted creature because it's going to be quite a lot cheaper, potentially. Right, we're looking at red now. We've got to look for goblins. I can already see one other goblin. Yeah, this is usually what happens with the Horde Master. You get one goblin picker as your other goblin. It's just not worth it at all. But actually, the goblin picker is pretty good. Discard and draw, I think, is good. Yeah, exiling the top card of your library, just I don't think that's good enough. Smash to Dust is pretty good. There's a lot of tokens running around. I think Thrill of Possibility for the spells deck. This is definitely something. Twinferno is pretty good. I mean, it's yeah, it's a combat trick, or it's kind of a fork. Yep, this guy's good. Defiler, of course. Enthrall to the Pit's fantastic if you can get to 7 mana. Hurler Cyclops is really good. Farnado is really good. That's 2 of them. Maria's Outrider is good. It's a bit of direct damage. It's also got reach, so it's blocking a flyer. That's also very good. Yeah, I didn't mention Hammer Hand. It's just, yeah, it's just an aura. Takes out a blocker. Yeah. I'm not too excited by this card, so I've skipped it. Right, so we're on to green. Gaea's Might. I actually used this in my last draft. It's quite an efficient pump spell. I find it very hard to cut a creature to include a spell like this, though. I think, yeah, I don't want to think about combat tricks until I've got a good creature base, so we're skipping this. However, this is removal. This is removal. Another combat trick. I like Snarespinner because it can block flyers. That's it. It's like a removal against flyers. That's one of the main problems you have. Right, the Iconoclast. Okay, actually, you know what? That's a 3/2 trample for 2 mana. It can be a 4/3 haste trample. Trample's an evasion ability. I think that's a pretty good card. Bog Badger can give your team menace. I think that's very good. Deathbloom Gardener is ramp, and it's got Death Touch, so it does 2 quite useful things. The Hexbane Tortoise. I'm not too excited by this, so skip this one. Defiler of Vigor is cool. Mossbeard Ancient is cool. It's got trample. It's expensive. Yavimaya Sojourner. Right. So it doesn't have any evasion abilities, but it can get quite cheap if you're playing Domain. And it's got 6 toughness. Being that tough and potentially cheap, I think, is actually quite worthwhile. So we will include that. It's actually looking good for this Defiler of Vigor because we've got quite a few green permanents. We might want to include the Hexbane Tortoise just so we can get that trigger on the Defiler. So I think we will include the Tortoise just for that reason. So green permanents we can see here. Other than Defiler, we have 5, 6, 7. We've got a couple of multicoloured ones here, though that's double black and that's double white, so a little bit hard to splash them It's the only problem. So yeah, that is green. We'll just look at all the multicolored guys. I think they're all really good, and you just include all of them really. Yeah, this makes soldiers when you cast spells. That's got Death Touch, and it kind of does a drain life kind of thing. Yeah, Balmor's really good, pumps up the team and gives them trample when you cast spells. Uurg, Spawn of Turg. What I notice is we do have a lot of double black, and he's double black as well. Kind of tempts me to, yeah, it definitely tempts me to play green black, which is I'm not a combination I've put together yet. Maybe this is the deck. He's also got a kind of self-mill ability. If we remember, we have Writhing Necromass, who likes having creatures in the graveyard. So that could be quite handy. And 5 toughness is pretty significant. It's going to be very hard to play this guy on turn 3, though. He's a bit like Liliana in that respect. But yeah, good card. Tori Davenant is good, pumps the team when it attacks. Queen Alanal, yeah, when you make tokens, you make an extra token. Very good, right. We have the tap lands we can look at here. It's not looking good for green-black in the tap lands, but yeah, white. We've got 2 white-blue, 2 white-green, 2 blue-red, then a blue-black and a green-red. What does this mean? It's yeah, it's going to be quite easy to splash blue. If we wanted to do that. Yeah, we've got a few, got 3 green things. So it's going to it should be easy to splash white if we need it. Yeah, but that's a lot of cards. That's 78 cards. If we look at the rundown we've got here, doesn't really help us too much. 14 white, 13 blue, black, red, 12 green. We can sort of look at what we've left out here, because Banalish Faithbonders are pretty playable. And yep, so is the Juniper Order Root Weaver. And even take up the shield, but doesn't help us that much. Though it's kind of exciting, we've got a couple of green pump spells. When we've got several really big creatures, I think that's where the pump spells could shine. In the event that your opponent just runs out of removal, they can't like stop your last big creature. They might have to double or triple block it, and that's when you can just really clean up with a pump spell. and get maybe a 2 for 1, 3 for 1. So I think we'll consider these, because looking at my creatures, that seems very, very doable. But yeah, it's quite a wide selection we've got. It's tempting to just go for the Defiler of Vigor deck again. I might very well do that. But yeah, maybe green-black would certainly be a new direction to go. It would let me try out Liliana for the first time as well. So maybe that's the way we go. I think we'd probably end up playing a Toxic Abomination, so I will just add that. Typically you want to play so blue-red spells is definitely a deck. And looking at the cards we've got, I suspect it's not the strongest selection. I'm just going to... I feel like I ought to cut at least one colour. I think I'll cut blue this time, because I just don't think it has enough strong cards. I think, yeah, we've put all the Merfolk in, just because I had the Merfolk Lord there. And it's not really actually that inspiring, that team of Merfolk. I think it's definitely not as good as green or black. If we look at red, I mean, really, how much red removal do we have? Got this, you've got a decent red creature here. Yeah, and Hurler Cyclops as well. They're good. And we've got 2 sort of expensive removal. I feel like all the good red stuff is expensive, and double red as well. There's not a lot early on. It's kind of, if you need double red, you're quite committed. You got to play a lot of mountains, but there's the red early game here is pretty weak. There's Balmore's the best thing, and that's blue as well. We don't really want to play blue. You'd cut all these cards. You cut Balmore, I think, and then you've got to say, well, the only thing we can do with red is maybe splash some spells, but the double red spells are going to be impossible to splash, so we just have to cut those. But these are still a possibility, I think. We'll have to cut Tura as well. Because if we look at the blue spells, we've got sorceries and instants. We've got 3, 4, 5, which is okay, but probably not enough for a good spell stack. Now we should look at white. Yeah, we did find a few ways of making soldiers for the veteran. There's artillery blast there as well. Citizens Arrest is double white. So there's definitely a decent rollout of white creatures. You can sort of play quite a few 2-drops. could definitely play a kind of weenie deck. You've got a Captain's Call, but you don't have many defenders to go with Wingmantle Chaplain. And you've got one big white flyer as well. I think we cut everything apart from the flyer. There's Elas Ilkor and Queen Alanol. I think we cut both of those. So yeah, we're getting down to the black-green deck. $49 cards. So 9 more to cut. I think that's pretty good so far. I think I'll call that end of part 1, and I'll try and trim this down some more to a 40 card deck. Thanks for watching so far, and welcome back. So I've put together a green and black deck. And I've been racking my brains a little bit over it. I had it cut down to 40 cards, and then I sort of thought, actually, I can get away with 45 cards this deck. I'm running. The argument is I've got Eerie Soultender, which mills 3 cards, and I've got Uurg Spawn of Turg. Potentially that could mill a card every turn, and that could make a difference in a long game. I fancy the 5 extra cards in the deck. I don't think it hurts my deck too much. I don't think it hurts consistency too much. And yeah, it's kind of on the bubble. I think I might need those 5 extra draws so, once in a while to just try and finish off a game. The cards. So basically, to go up from 40 to 45, it's very simple. I add a swamp and a forest, and then I add 3 cards. The 3 I added were Hexbane Tortoise, Toxic Abomination, and the Inscribed Tablet. So yeah, the Tortoise was in the deck, and then it was out of the deck. I realised I needed a Meteorite in the deck, and I'll explain that. So this is a kind of emergency measure to give you a bit more mana of any colour. And I think we actually do need it in this deck, because if you look at the mana symbols, we've got a couple of double green here. We've got 2 Extinguish the Light, we've got Uurg Spawn of Turg, and we've got Liliana. That's 4 double black cards. That's a lot in one deck, and to have it in both colours as well. Look, there's obviously the black cards are the cheaper ones. I had a look at. I keep talking about the Frank Carsten article. It's called "How Many Sources Do You Need to Consistently Cast Your Spells?" And looking at this, it's sort of. Basically, I've got 8 green and 8 black sources from the lands. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the green-black tap lands, which would have helped a lot. That means it's going to take me until about turn 7 without the Meteorite to actually cast my double colour spells, double colour requirement, which I think turn 7's that's starting to get a bit too late in the game. So just to improve that a little bit, we add the Meteorite, and then you've got a 90% chance of getting a double color requirement by turn 6. So I thought, yeah, that's a big enough deal. We need the Meteorite. So that's why I initially dropped the Tortoise, and then of course, yeah, I thought, yeah, it's self-mill. Put the Tortoise back in. I put the Toxic Abomination back in. Yeah, I don't like losing 2 life. It's as simple as that. And the Inscribed Tablet. I don't like this either, but it helps you hit your land drops. That's all. I prefer the artifacts that let you search the deck for a land. Those are that's a powerful effect. The annoying thing about this one, you could have 5 very important cards and 1 land, and then those 5 cards are going to the bottom of the library, and you're not seeing them for the rest of the game. It's just it might be a low statistical chance, but it's gut wrenching when that happens, and it has happened to me. So and that game I just top deck land for the rest of the game as well. But I think we'll have to take that risk this time. I think I've got to just slap myself around the face a bit and say, yeah, it's not that likely to happen. And we'd rather just... this is going to help us hit our land drops, and we do have a bit of a top end here as well. So it's going to be, overall, on balance, it's going to be more helpful for the deck. I should mention, yeah, we've got a Deathbloom Gardener as well. So between that and the Meteorite, it should be 10 black sources. And, well, now I've gone up to 45 cards. It'll be 11 black sources and 11 green. Yeah. I'll mention, we're not playing a lot of the tap lands at the moment. Yeah, we've got to switch that off and switch that off. Yeah, so we've dropped the non-relevant lands. I mean, we can't afford to play anything that isn't green or isn't black. So we've got the 3 green tap lands and the black tap land. So it's not the strongest kind of setup for your domain payoffs. But I'm still going to play Yavimaya Sojourner. I think 6 toughness creatures they're kind of... it's kind of a break point in this set. I think there's quite a jump in power from 5 toughness to 6 toughness, arguably, because there's a lot of... I've noticed there's a few popular 5/5 creatures, and there's a 5 damage sweeper in red as well. So I think on that basis, the Sojourner's that's why Sojourner is quite good. The other domain card, of course, is Gaea's Might that I'm using, and it's taken a lot of convincing, but yeah, I think this is a good card. So I don't like playing combat tricks, but I think they make more sense when you do have a few big creatures, and then potentially it's a lot of value. If they're forced to double or triple block your big creature, this can give you a big advantage, a 2-for-1 or even a 3-for-1. So I think that's a good argument for Gaea's Might. But I'm not going overboard. I haven't included Colossal Growth. I think I'm comfortable with 1 combat trick in the deck. I don't want to draw a whole hand. Don't want to draw 2 at once. And this one's it costs 1 more mana. And we're not too likely to get the kicker for it as well. We've got 1 Wooded Ridgeline, 1 Grotto, the 2 in the deck, the 2 mana fixes in the deck as well. But yeah, we know. Yeah, I'm just I'm still not convinced, not sold on combat tricks, but 1 mana combat tricks maybe. Yeah, I don't like aggressive sabotage. I don't like card discard particularly. I don't think it's consistent enough. It's got a very high ceiling. Sometimes you just play this on turn 3, 4, 5, and you kind of destroy your opponent. But sometimes you just draw it late game when you need a removal card, and they've got no cards left in hand. You're both top decking, and it's completely useless. So. Yeah, I think that is the deck pretty much explained. You usually want to go for 17 creatures in a 40-card deck, so because it's 45 cards, we're a little under that kind of requirement. So yeah, we're a couple of creatures under, but I think we're playing 8 removal spells, including the combat trick. So we're a little bit more control-y with this deck. Yeah, we're playing best of one. We'll just go for it now, I think. Okay, this is a good hand. We've got so we've got double green. We don't have double black for Liliana. That is one drawback. We've got 3 land types, so Gaea's Might is going to be +3/+3. We've got a 2-drop creature and a 4-drop creature, so that's all right. And yeah, you see, we're really needing double black. This is kind of the problem I identified. Not quite fixed it that effectively. I have run into Weatherlight Completed before, and it did transform into a 5/5 flyer. Basically, if they have, is it 4 creatures die? Phyrexian, no. No, yeah, it's 4 creatures die. It gets 4 Phyrexian counters. It becomes a creature. So 5/5 flying is pretty serious. That just ends the game pretty quickly. It's very good to get on turn 2. If it's got 7 Phyrexian counters, you start drawing cards off it as well, which is pretty nice. Oh, very, very good news indeed. We've actually drawn a second source of black and another land type. So Gaea's Might will give us +4/+4. We'll swing in with the Abomination because that's only a 0/3, I notice. So our aggressive early creature has paid off for us already. And we get to 4 lands as well. So what I'm expecting is he'll tap down my Abomination. Now Warhorse, obviously you can get an extra creature with if you have white mana. I think I want to build up the board and play the Warhorse before I sort of think about removal spells. We'll see if he taps down the Abomination. I'm pretty sure that's got to be his plan. Yeah. So he's Defender deck. Right, nice. So he can't use that ability. It's very mana intensive. It sort of seems kind of good, that card, but so mana intensive. Oh, the Chaplain is about to come out. Okie doke. I think it's when we play Liliana and we make him sacrifice a creature. She goes down to 1 loyalty. The Sentinel is, yeah, of course it is Defender. It is Defender. So I will play Liliana and I'll make him sacrifice something.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come for answers. I've always hated clouds.
Okay. Get Phyrexian counter on that. We could hold up Extinguish the Light for the weather just for the weather light if it comes to it. Okay, right. Okay, well that got it. First time I've played Liliana, seemed to do the job. I was thinking, do I attack first and see if he chomp blocks? But I thought, no, I'll get some damage through. Good time to play Liliana because he's only got defenders out. He doesn't have anything that can attack back. Now, so here we have a bit of an issue. So we just have no cards we can play. We actually do have double black, which is quite good for Uurg Spawn of Turg. If we can just top deck a forest. It's risky. We have a Meteorite later as well. It's risky. It's something you could keep. Okay, opponent goes first. So my rule of thumb is this lets you keep more hands if they go first because you're drawing an extra card. I'm on 0 losses. I'm going to gamble slightly because I think otherwise this is a good opening hand other than the mana issues. We even have a way of getting to an extra green if we need it later. So it's just, yeah, top decking land. And Uurg is pretty nice because he can actually, if we can just get him out, then he can fix our draws. Aha! Very, very nice. So we've top decked a green source. We're going to play the green source first. We're not going to do anything till turn 3. Just going to make sure we play this tap land next. So yeah, I'm very lucky, and that's worked out in my favour quite significantly. So it has to be Aqua for now. This costs 4 mana to pump, and you get a domain pump, which is already at 3. So that's pretty significant. That's getting pumped to 5/5. Now that would be 6/6, in fact. Okay. Now Uurg Spawn of Turg is a pretty good blocker. He'll be a 0/5. This is just a 3/2. I think it's got to be Uurg. I mean, it could be playing him into some removal, but that's okay. It happens. And then he's ramping. Okay. So block 2 damage. If he has the pump spell, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 +4/+4. This guy would even get killed by the Snarespinner. I think I'll take the risk. Could be a terrible decision, but okay. Alright, Bone Splinters. No, we need a land. We need a land. We have to get rid of that. We just have to... Yes. What looks kind of good here? I think I like Abomination and just kill the Root Waller before it gets a chance to pump next turn. If he had the Gaia's Might, he'd have killed Uurg. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Not 100% sure. Yeah, I think that's decent. So Abomination, bite down. Okay. 2 cards left. Oh, we like lands so much. Give me those lands. We can actually Warhorse and make a soldier. This is a lot of damage though that we can't really deal with, so I think we just destroy it. This is instant speed. I'm just thinking, what can he do? Yeah, no, we'll just destroy it in my turn. I'm not going to overcomplicate things. And I'm going to attack with the Abomination. Okay, he's got a big creature. So that's a lot of damage next turn. We can't really deal with that at all. Okay, that's a land. That's actually good. We want that so we can kind of do our own thing here. We are just going to have to take 7 damage from that guy, unfortunately, because we're ramping out a Meteorite this turn, and it's just going to do 2 damage to his dome, which isn't particularly useful. So it's not another big creature, but it's a... this is a little bit scary. In 2 turns he gets a big pump effect, which is going to be... Is it still plus... Yeah, he's missing a plane. It's going to be +4/+4. It's going to go on his Mossbeard Ancient. So we're taking 7 now, because I don't think there's much point jump blocking particularly. Knight of Dusk's Shadow. Let's just kind of double spell next turn with the Warhorse. I think that's a pretty decent draw. And we can play Mossbeard Ancient. Of course, he might be running counter spells. It looks like it's a green-red deck. It's very cheeky if he's running counter spells. And we know he's going to swing in for it with an 11/11 next turn. I mean, in 2 turns. Is there any point kind of double blocking this guy? If he's got the pump spell, it gets to 11/11. So I think there's no point. I think so. We're going to attack with the Abomination, because I'm not going to double block. Oh, he's got bite down for that. Okay. Well, we tried. So, block there, takes 7. He's got an 11/11 trample next turn. Uurg is actually helping us top deck, so I think we'll just block 1 damage, take 7. So yeah, he did have the Gaia's Might to take out Uurg, unfortunately. Shame. So yeah, we just see what we did there. We needed a land, so that's why we got rid of Bone Splinters. I think that was the right decision. We did bite down on his 2/2 pump creature. We did Extinguish the Light on his 5/4 trample. And it all seemed like kind of reasonable decisions, but yeah. And we had the Mossbeard Ancient in hand. Of course, he used his removal to take out my Mossbeard. So yeah, I don't know if we misplayed there. It feels bad, but I don't know if I did anything particularly wrong. Maybe I misplayed here because my Knight of Dusk's Shadow can actually get pumped up. But that's spending 5 mana to put 4 toughness on the board. This is to get... Yeah, I think that's reasonable. No attacks, and end turn. So 11/11 trample. We've only got 6 life. We've got 8 toughness on the board. So I don't think there's a... I think we can afford to block, trade off these 2, but then we have to put 7 toughness in front of this guy. Like that. Just have to chump block like that. And then we take 5 damage and we get 1 more turn. And there's probably no combination of cards I can draw that actually save me. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, having that big creature and a Gaia's Might as well, and a bite down. Yeah, good combination, good rollout of cards there. Very hard for me to deal with. Good game, and we just concede there. But yeah, if you know, with 20/20 hindsight, you say, okay, I can take 5 damage from this, the Elfheim Worm, Trampler. I'll hold Extinguish the Light for another turn, just in case. He's got something else. Because I maybe was able to play a Phyrexian Warhorse instead that turn. And actually what I was thinking there, I didn't even think about the sacrifice on Phyrexian Warhorse. So I think I should go back and look at that later and just see if I missed something there. Because that's, yeah, it's giving you basically potentially an extra point of power to play with. Just for 1 mana. I think this is a good opener. We've got double black, we've got green, and we've got a ramp creature as well. We've got a 2-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop. Almost, yeah, I would say, yeah, perfect, really. And we've got Liliana for turn 3 is good. Right. Right, Snarespinner is a slightly better blocker here, I would say. I'm going to go Snarespinner. But yeah, Vivisector early is good. If he does kill this, then I get to scry. And that's him down a removal spell, you know? He's got another one. Oof. Right, so we could play Liliana, make him sacrifice, then all he has to do is cast a spell, he can kill Liliana quite easily. So, other options. We've got Deathbloom Gardener. But Liliana definitely kills one of these. That is the thing. And it's an evasion creature. Maybe it's a good thing to do. And if we force him into casting a spell. Yeah, I think we're gonna use Liliana as a removal spell here.
Something suspicious.
Because taking out one of his evasion creatures seems good, even for 3 mana.
Off you go.
And we've got to force him to use a spell on turn 3. It's great. He's got lightning strikes. He's going to kill the Vivisector. That's kind of helpful for me. This helps me find a land, so we want that. Liliana's dead, as we thought she might be.
Fine. I know when I'm not wanted.
So what looks quite good here. So Snarespinner into Inscribed Tablet and use the Inscribed Tablet. Looks quite good. There's also Deathbloom Gardener. And we want to play the Warhorse when we've got 5 mana, so we could Gardener to set up a Warhorse next turn. But I don't want to miss a land drop, so I'm going to do Snarespinner, Inscribed Tablet. And next. And that is instant speed, right? Just make sure. 2/2 could destroy artifacts. Inscribe tablet, activate it. We actually hit some white mana, which is significant. So we'll play the tap land. We hold back the Warhorse. I think we'll play the Gardener here. I'm not too terrified by his board. And we're progressing well on lands. Okay, he's top deck to land. He's got that's starting to get to be a significant creature, but we've got something as well. So we've got 6 mana available. Now I like Defiler of Vigor. He's got blue. There's a chance he could untap, have a counter spell up for the Defiler, so I think play the Defiler now whilst we can. And we can actually cast Mossbeard Ancient next turn if we spend 2 life, which seems like a good deal. Gear to Amplifier. Okay, it doesn't have enough to bounce with the kicker. That's good news for me. Go ahead and play the Swamp. He could have Essence Capture from a Mossbeard Ancient, I'm thinking. That would be pretty bad. If he's got Essence Capture, I'd guess he might actually take out the Warhorse. So I think my board's a bit better than his. So he's going to want to like keep tapping his mana. So I think definitely he's got the Essence Capture. I know it's not Capture, it's something else. So we'll play the Warhorse and see if he gets through. Yeah, looks like he didn't have a counter spell. And we'll just hit next. We don't want to add Defiler to get traded off yet. So I think he's top deck to land there. And he's got a pretty darn good creature, which can sort of ping my Gardener. Yeah, but at the cost of creatures. But we do have a pretty good answer for that. I think, let's see, yeah, 6 mana, 7 mana, I can tap. I don't have to pay 2 life for this. Should I pay 2 life? It means I've got 1 mana up if I want to sacrifice something. So, yeah, maybe I want to sacrifice something. Play the Radiant Grove as well. The Defiler's a 7/7 trample. I think that's pretty solid. I think happy to attack with Warhorse here. Maybe Defiler as well. When he's tapped out, and these are quite challenging for him to deal with. I don't have any other green permanents. I'm okay losing the Defiler here. Yeah, that seems okay. But yeah, you can double block here, so wouldn't be a great trade, but takes his biggest creature off the board, and then I've still got my Mossbeard Ancient. Okay, yeah, trade for the War Brute. If I sack something, I'm still taking 5 damage and it's dying, so I'm trying to get through 6 toughness of creatures as well. So this is where we do use the ability, and we'll sack the 2/2. Then we should take out both of those. Good trade, and Defiler just gets through. Oh no. Oh god. Right, we're taking 9 damage. We're obviously not blocking. It's not a kicked enthrall to the pit, so I panic when I see that card. Of course, no, he didn't have the mana to kick that. That's getting sacked by the Hurler Cyclops. Nice, yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Now, options. This is actually, we can do this with Kicker, with the Gardener for 3. Let's do that now, and we should still have enough for Extinguish the Light. Obviously, he's tapped out. Take out the Cyclops. Attack with everything. Yeah. Yeah, didn't put 2 and 2 together there. I didn't. Yeah, of course, enthrall to the pit works great with Hurler Cyclops. But yeah, I still had just a bit too much there. Yeah, and there was the turn 3 decision. Play Liliana to get rid of one of his evasion creatures, and I think that seemed like the right decision, and it forced out that lightning strike on my grizzly bear, basically, which is probably a suboptimal use of a lightning strike. So now here we've got a couple of double black creatures, and we do not have double black, but we've got splash colours. We've got red, we've got white, and it looks like we could play a turn 3 Iconoclast with Kicker. And we have a bite down as well. At least we've got 1 swamp. Could be better. There's a Meteorite if we get to 5 land, and that'll fix our hand a little bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna play the tap land, and I'll send the Iconoclast in next turn. So that forest is good. That's us to up to 4 mana. That's okay. This is the Herbalist is a really good card. It lets you get that out early, and you can just fix everything. And we see the second swamp, which is great. Obviously, we played the tap lands. We can't play a Liliana now, but it would get killed by these cheap creatures. So this is a rare. 2 drop with enlist. Scry 2 when you enlist a creature. Oh, that's a fantastic combo with these 2 guys. And you can discard a card to just make him indestructible. Well, that's nice. So I guess we'll Liliana and sacrifice something next turn. Seems good. I think. Right. Why are you tapping that green mana to do that? Okay, let's tap you for red. You for green, please. And let's swing in. it's good. That's a good start for him. I guess he missed one land drop. He's hit one of his lands. He can swing back for 4. He gets to scry. He gets 1 life. Everything's very good for him, and he gets to scry 2 more as well because of the Guardian. He's got 2 good things on top as well. Good turn for that guy. If you have the follow-up creature as well, I might be in trouble. Yes, it's a good one. Right, bite down. Bite down looks good here. Liliana may be a questionable move here. I'm thinking tap land, just bite down. Or, yeah, I guess Uurg, Spawn of Turg. Decent blocker. This is obviously gets to be indestructible. I think it's tap land, bite down. We didn't attack, which suggests we're going to block. I don't know if we want to block though. Stops some damage, and it means he might have to discard a card. Good scrying, he's got good things on top. I guess... I will block. We could Meteorite and pop the Herbalist next turn. Okay, well that's 1 less creature he's got. That's the good news there. We get to 5 mana, we get to double black. Oh, interesting. Cult Conscript can come into play. So I think this is a good turn. I think Meteorite on the Herbalist and a Cult Conscript. Seems good. It's got to take up the shield. Oh, nice. Okay. We're getting battered here. Yeah, of course, we can't double spell. We need 4 black to do that. Well, I've only got 3 black. Just some very powerful scrying going on here. It's going to keep up the pressure. But yeah, Liliana would have been a much stronger removal effect there. Can't really get around a sacrifice. And now we've got to remember, we've got to hold lands to sacrifice to Liliana, should she somehow survive. Yeah, he's got another flyer. It's a pretty good one. Okay, this can swing in for 4 next turn, possibly 5 if he gets the swamp. We've got a Writhing Necromass that could block on the ground, but then he just trades off, discards a card, it's indestructible. I don't think the Necromass is going to work. I think Liliana gives us some value here.
Nobody knows Dominaria's shadows like me.
Yeah, good opener. Herbalist into Guardian.
I've always hated cards.
Okay, there goes the Herbalist. So we're almost certainly losing Liliana next turn. We can't. I think we keep the forest though, just in case he decides to just go face and try and finish me off. But yeah, that's the apparition is looking pretty lethal at the moment. Yeah, who'd have foreseen take up the shield? Yeah, it does. You never expect to take up the shield on the Samite Herbalist. Looks like Liliana is going to bite the dust. And no attack with Guardian of New Benalia. I guess he doesn't want to discard a card. Probably means he's got two good cards in his hand, I would guess. Guess we can... Liliana's down, so we may as well play our land. We've got... Uurg is the best one to go for, so it can actually do a job for me and... do a bit of my own scrying on the top, off the top of the deck, and it can even sacrifice lands just for life points. So might be able to keep us in the game for a little bit longer. We'll see. So this is going to be 4 damage a turn from this. So we've got 3 turns, probably 2 turns, because if you'll just need to top deck a swamp for the extra point of damage. And how good would Meteorite look when after he cast that, because he didn't have any black mana to pump it. So I guess he's going to follow up with something else. 3, 6. We've got 7 mana, and the most expensive thing in the deck is 7 mana. So I think we will... I want to sacrifice a land with this guy to gain 2 life. We'll sacrifice a forest. Then we're on 8 life. The Vivisector. It's another thing that can scry stuff. If they die, I think it's not a removal spell. It's not an answer to the flyer, so we have to just dump it. I think the plan here is I'm going to swing in with a Conscript now. I'm going to try and put his life total under a bit of pressure. And we'll have a Writhing Necromass. Do we want to hold the forest? I'm going to say, yeah, let's hold the forest. Oh, of course, we could have sacrificed another land if we'd played the forest, but then we don't really want to go below 7 mana in case we top deck our Ancient. Okay, next turn he can swing for 5. But he is just, yeah, So he's got lethal next turn in the air. Ah, the Warhorse. Okay. The Warhorse. Are we actually going to outrace this guy somehow? He's on 18 life. I'm skeptical. Yeah, we can get 2 creatures from this. But I'm going to graveyard it because... Okay, Gaea's Might. Gaea's Might. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Gives +4/+4. Bog Badger gives everybody menace, so we can get through with 8 damage this turn. Right, I think I'm playing the forest, and the Bog Badger can block the Guardian. Give everybody menace, seems good. And then I should still be able to sacrifice a land to just try and keep myself alive. And I've got the Bog Badger, and I've got this land sacrifice to keep me alive. Do I sack a land now? Is a question. To get 2 more damage in, because then it's 9 damage. Yeah, okay, I'm going to sack a land now. Get to 7 life points. We're going to have to do it anyway at some point. And it might be a misplay to do that this turn, because next turn he can block the Necromass, and that's where most of the damage is coming from. He's swinging for 6 damage then if he taps all of this. Ooh, this is hair-raising. That's just 3 damage, so he knows he can get lethal next turn. And holding up mana for instant removal, I would guess. But our only... Okay, it's a life linker, so he's going to be on 11 life. That sucks. And he's got lethal next turn anyway. And he gets that. And that's another blocker, if he wants to play it. Yeah, I think he that gets him the win. We'll see if we top... if Uurg can help us. Unfortunately, if it's the tree folk, that's handy. Okay. Right, we're only on 4 life. Got to remember that. But I think we're kind of forcing him to block with everything here, and we've got a +4 damage kind of deal going on. Wait. What if we get really greedy and we extinguish the light on a blocker now? Then he has to block the Necromass. We get through with 7 damage, and Gaea's Might wins the game. But it's high risk because he might have a 2 mana removal instant like... But we do just have to make a decision at this point. I do gain 3 life if I do this, by the way. This is kind of giving the game away and saying, hey, I'm going for the win now. This turn. No, really. Really? Okay. We lost. He had another creature protector. So, yeah. Unbelievable. Yes, 2020 hindsight. Oh, obviously, you kill the thing that's about to kill you. Don't go for the win. Okay, our only possibility now is if he doesn't block correctly. So he'll be on 11 life. We're getting through with 4. And yeah, he's swinging back anyway for like 6 in the air. Well, yeah, I'm just going through the motions of this, but okay, those 2 creature protector spells just get one in the game here. Very close, but no cigar. Yeah. Now, I do have a list of Dominaria United instants. If I had consulted my list, well, I already knew about the white creature protector there. Wasn't really thinking about that. I was thinking destroy evil he might have in his hand. So I guess there were quite a few ways for him to not lose that game, and maybe I was kind of gambling on a surprise win a little bit. If I just kill him. Oh wait, no. What am I talking about? Extinguish the Light on his flyer, and he just protects that as well. So maybe there was no way out there. Because I could get to 6 life and sacrifice another land. But he could swing in for 6 in the air anyway. So yeah, I mean, I'm reacting to the result, the bad result that happened, but maybe there was actually no way around that result. That's often what happens. But it's good to know the difference between the two when maybe you did make slightly a slightly worse play or a riskier play. Yeah, but Battle Rage Blessing, that's a good one to remember. That's going to stick in my mind. So black, got to remember, black can get Indestructible and Death Touch for 2 mana at instant speed. So that's the good thing about getting blown out by instants. Hopefully that helps you remember that they exist. So we're 2 and 2. We'll play. So the other thing that happened in that game, maybe it's another 2020 hindsight thing, but maybe it would have been better to be absolutely sure I could make him lose a creature, because the Samite Herbalist was doing work for him, as well as the 2/2 rare. So that would have pretty much guaranteed killing. The sacrifice effect would have taken out the Herbalist. The only thing, of course, sometimes people have flash speed creatures they can play and sacrifice, but that was less likely maybe than him having a protection spell, I suppose. But now let's look at this hand. So we've got the Grotto, that helps us scry, which is a big deal when we're looking for lands. We've got 1 swamp. Right now we can't do anything, but that Grotto is going to help us find the next land, and then we can at least play this creature. We got 2 of our biggest creatures. We did get a removal spell, but we don't have double black, and we got Bone Splinters, which is kind of emergency removal. It's not the best hand in the world. I think when I'm on 2 losses and I'm going first, not getting that extra card, might be a bit risky. But I think maybe it depends on whether the scry, we think the scry is enough to help us. I'm gonna say mulligan, because this is really a 5 card hand. And the 5 cards aren't that great. Okay, now we've got good lands. I think we keep all 4. Do we keep all 4 lands? Which one do we drop? Maybe we drop a land here because I can play all of these things. Keep 6. We'll drop a forest. Play a Radiant Grove. Because we've actually got 2 of our. We could have done a turn 1 play, couldn't we? Cult Conscript would have been pretty good. Now I think of it. So. Yeah, that was a little misplay there because I could have got in for 2 damage, and then play the Battlefly Swarm and get in for an extra point. So we're okay. That's nice. Okay. We'll have a Battlefly Swarm. So just so. Used to playing the tap land on turn 1. I forget that this deck does have 1 mana plays that could do a little bit of damage. So we're going to look for a land. Hope we don't put too many good cards on the bottom of the deck, but we'll try not to think about that. That's rather good. That's more land for the another land type for the Sojourner. Yeah, that's not bad. Over to my turn. Ooh, Defiler as well. Let's swing in for 1. And we're kind of hoping we top. The ideal draw would be an untapped land, so we can play Defiler first, and then do a Sojourner in a later turn. Defiler of Flash, let's read this. 4/4 Menace. That's right, and when you cast a black permanent, target creature gets +1/+1 and Menace. Little pump. It's not quite as impressive as the Defiler of Vigor. But yeah, big evasion creature. I believe it's a good target for Extinguish the Light. I think that might be a reasonable thing to do this turn. Swing in like that. More aggressive would be to play the Sojourner and then you save your removal next turn when you can get through for a lot of damage. Okay. So, do we play the Sojourner? I say no. Let's not play the Sojourner. And end turn. So yeah, he's followed up with another really good creature. Now he can make an army of tokens if he casts spells. Okay. 2/2. Very meteorite shaped. Over to my turn. So we are definitely holding off on our creatures here a bit. We want to kill this whilst he is tapped out, and I believe. Okay, no, that's 5 mana. It's going to use all my mana to do this. What I'd love is if he uses removal on Battlefly Swarm. I would love to see that. Oh my goodness, and it happened. There's no point giving him Death Touch, so I'll let him die. Beautiful. So we're on 6 mana. We'll see. Of course, he's probably got backup removal in the hand. He's got 2 cards there, but still, there is the chance we get something pretty good going here. Yeah, that's right. We didn't take the first risky hand. We did mulligan. Okay, so is it Defiler? Because now we can actually play 2 solid guys on the ground. I'll play the Defiler. He's got 2 cards left. He could have he could have the counter spell, couldn't he? But I'll go for the big play and see what he's got. I felt we delayed as long as we could there. We'll see. Yeah, okay, he had Extinguish the Light number 2. Forget about it. Okay, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Right, yeah, I don't have the mana to actually bring this back. That's the thing, that's how that works. So no blocks, we'll take 4. Right, Uurg is a very good draw, I think. That lets us, again, dig for our answers. I don't... See, this is where I don't want to play Toxic Abomination. That just takes me down to 11. At the moment, he's going to win in 5 turns, just with the bird. This means he wins in 4 turns, so... It'd be nice if this guy had reach. Just saying. Yeah, no attacks with a conscript, I think. So you drew both his Extinguish the Lights. Well, yeah, I've had one of mine. I'd like to draw the other one, please. I mean, that's fair, isn't it? Splatter Goblin. So they're in Terra. Okay, he's got a huge creature, sure. Bite Down might be very, very good indeed. Let's draw that. Okay. Right, Sojourner is 4 mana. Let's play him, and he'll do the Bite Down, I think, rather than the Abomination. Sojourner can block the Terror as well, so he can do double duty. He's got 1 blue mana, but I'd say... So Rona's Vortex is the bounce spell for 1 blue. That can just mess up my day here. He's got 1 card left. We'll just see if he's just top decked everything, absolutely everything he needs to just destroy me. But we'll try this. Bite Down. Sojourner on Tura. We did it, okay. And no attacks. Okay. Another flyer. So he took out the Defiler, Belching Sky Knight, Tatura. Liliana is maybe not very good here. I can make him discard his card. I can make him sacrifice something, which is going to be a token. I think, yeah, Liliana's just bad here, so let's get rid of Liliana. It's a bold move, but it's just, yeah, useless. So we're going to take 5 damage this turn and 5 damage next turn. He's got a good blocker, so I don't think there's much point at blocking. I don't think we get much out of playing the Abomination here either. 4, 5, 6, 7. We can actually we can play the Forest. I think I'm going to play the Forest, and Uurg can also sacrifice a land. We were in a very similar situation very recently. Okay, 3/3. Get 3 damage through. Okay, my turn. Uurg. Snarespinner. Okay. It's not quite what we... It's not enough to kill a Tattered Apparition, which is a shame. But it's something that can buy us a turn of life. I don't think we should be attacking here. That's just okay. Stall for time, sure. And then he's got the Tolarian Terror he can attack with. So that's the winning plan here, I guess. He's got, yeah, another swamp, so that's 6 damage in the air. He needs to get through with 1 damage on the ground. He's going to destroy evil on Turg, so potentially Turg can give me some life points. So obviously he's going to block there. The Knight... Okay, it's getting complicated, but I know we need to sacrifice at least 1 land, so that's what we'll do. Now we can either pump the Knight. We'll pump. I don't think pumping the Knight does enough, so I'm going to just sacrifice another land as well. So yeah, Liliana, using Liliana to just make him discard. Turns out he had some pretty good cards in his hand, so that would have actually been a pretty decent play. I was thinking all I need is a removal for this, but so we've got the 5/5 in the air. We've got, so that's, you're blocking there. We're taking 5, 6, 7. We're taking 9 damage. I think the Knight will take out a 1/1. We'll take 8 damage. Try and top deck something. Phyrexian Vivisector isn't quite the thing. And Toxic Abomination gets me down to 1 life. Okay, no attacks. Yeah, so he drew his Stall for Time, he drew his other 3 removal spells, and he drew 3 flyers. It's just very difficult to really deal with all of that. So my best guy will block there. He'll block there. He'll block there. Actually, all my guys die if I do that, but that's doesn't matter too much at this point. So, were there any decisions that game we made that were bad decisions? Were there any decisions which we regret? Because it's not quite the same thing. Playing Liliana would have, and choosing to, because I can make him lose a token, but making him, I'd discard my Toxic Abomination and he'd discard his card. I was just expecting his last card to be a land. I thought, yeah, getting rid of Liliana, we get 1 card closer to actually the next removal spell for the flyer, and that's what's killing us right now. But yeah, he had more action in his hand to just close out the game. So I'm not sure what the right decision was there, to be honest. And it sort of the 2020 hindsight decision was, yeah, play Liliana and make him discard that Stall for Time that he had, whatever it was in the hand. Right, let's have a look at the deck, because I felt like this is quite a decent deck, to be honest. We saw Uurg, Spawn of Turg, quite a lot, and very useful card, letting you scry every turn, basically. Well, in fact, surveil might be the right word from Guilds of Ravnica, because you get to dump it in the graveyard. And yeah, kept me alive as well with land sacrifice to try and find those answers. But again, we got run over by lots of flyers, evasion creatures. Even though we had slightly more removal in this deck than creatures, we still couldn't keep up with our opponent's flyers. Yeah, Snarespinner wasn't quite enough. It's very satisfying when you can kill a 2 toughness flyer with Meteorite, I've got to say. I think Meteorite was a good choice here. Especially with our double requirements. But yeah, the usual experience I've had with the Defiler of Vigor happened. I play it, it gets removed instantly, even after they've already used a removal spell. I've kind of waited, but he had a good enough draw. He could afford to use a removal spell on my Battlefly Swarm. So I think it's easy to say your opponent outdrew you, but that felt like I had the worst draw in that game. Maybe my deck is just worse. But yeah, that's so still interesting game. One kind of bit of anti-synergy. Uurg is obviously you're tempted to sacrifice lands to keep yourself in the game, but you kind of want 7 lands to cast your Mossbeard Ancient, which is another good way of keeping in the game if you manage to top deck it. So I was kind of think, oh, do I really want to go below 7 lands if I top deck this guy? But yeah, you could see I didn't want to put Toxic Abomination in the deck, and maybe that was, we saw why there, because a lot of the time you're in these situations where you're just trying to top deck that answer to the flyer. The kind of the ground game is kind of locked up, and it's just decided by the one evasion creature. And this just means you die a turn quicker usually if you lose 2 life. Yeah, overall, yeah, fairly satisfied. I hadn't played a green-black deck before, and this seemed to be a pretty strong selection of green and black cards. Liliana, Defiler of Vigor, some good uncommons, Mossbeard Ancient, Uurg, Spawn of Turg. So we got, it's not quite a self-mill deck. We had an Eerie Soultender we never actually saw. But we had that threat that we could do a bit of self-mill fun. Didn't have many ways of bringing creatures back from the graveyard. We did have the Cult Conscript, and that could be like sacrifice fodder as well. But so there's some ideas in this deck. It didn't quite come together as well as my opponent's decks, to be honest. But yeah, that was fun. Okay, I think I will. I've probably already added it to decks. We'll claim our prize. Hey, it's actually 600 gems for 2 wins. It's not too bad. So I'm watching my gem count with interest here. So we've got 6,900. I believe that was my 9th sealed attempt. So usually when a set's released, it's maybe I do about 6 sealed events. So I've done quite well. I've had, well, probably because of like a few stockpiled gems, a few more stockpiled gems than normal. We've got enough gems to do at least 3 more sealed, so I could get up to 12, I guess. I just have to decide: do I want to leave some gems? 3,000. You need 3,400 for the mastery pass. So this is where it's. I can still do another sealed and afford a mastery pass. So I've got to decide. And it kind of also depends on how long this mastery pass lasts for, because I could spend all my gems on sealed and then do some drafts to get some gems back to try and afford the pass. You do get some gems back when you buy the pass as well. Looks like if we just do a gem count, 300 there, 1,000 gold there, and 300 there. So you get 600 gems back. So it's like 2,800 net. So I can do at least 2 more sealeds. Yeah, but I'm having a lot of fun doing them, building my collection as well. Anyway, so I think that's the video. Thanks for watching.